let's start this podcast. We could really get on and start really helping people because, financial literacy is something that was gone from us, growing up. And a lot of people's problems was coming from money as we came up. You know what I mean?
Man.
And it wasn't from the lack of them not getting money, because we natural born hustlers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're gonna get to a bag. But the thing was, we didn't have that education on what to do with that money. So that's why I really started what I'm doing, my whole financial literacy brand. The app, the website, the podcast is gonna be coming soon.
Good people, what's going on? What's good? Right now, man, real estate is booming. So if you are looking to buy your first home, refinance, or do anything regarding home ownership, it's only right that you hit up our guy Herman Hudson of the Hudson Mortgage Team, powered by Fairway Mortgage. Herman and his team have over 20 years of experience in FHA, VA, conventional, first-time home buyer, and down payment assistance plans. So with all that being said, it's only right to let the Hudson team help mortgage your future. Check out my guy Herman Hudson right now and show him some love. It's only right. Hey, what's up with you, boss man? How you doing?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
Good, man. Good, bro, man. Thank you, bro, for being on the podcast, man. I've been following you for a few months now. Been seeing you kill it, man. The content that you give us on a consistent basis is dope, man. So, hey, we about to get to it.
Oh, yeah, man. I appreciate it. I followed you as well.
Thank you, man.
Doing your thing. I really look up to you, so I'm happy to be on your platform. Blessed.
That's love, man. For real, humble about that, bro. Son, man, everything that you're talking about is not normal for people that's in our age group, man. So what inspired you, man? FYI FLI podcast is something that's dope. Seeing what you're doing is like really, really inspirational because, again, man, financial literacy, we see older people talking about it. Earn Your Leisure is dope, but seeing somebody that's like our age talking about stuff that we usually don't talk about or learn about in school. So seeing that is really cool, man. So what inspired that?
So I'll say what really inspired me to create everything I'm doing, because the podcast actually didn't come until I had the idea for my app and website that I'll be dropping a little later on this year.
Nice.
So the podcast actually came. It's funny. It's a funny story. I actually didn't want to do a podcast at first.
Wow.
So, yeah, one of my mentors in Knoxville, because I graduated from a little school out in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And one of my mentors, he was like, bro, you should start a podcast. And I was like, for what? I ain't got nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
So that was like 2019. And then I came up with my idea for FYI FLI 2020. And then I was like, maybe it might be the time to start a podcast, because I felt like it would be a good way for me to, insert myself, insert my voice into the financial literacy community.
Yeah.
And build that community. And I told my mom, I told my co-host Remy G, shout out him, best co-host. And I told him like, man, let's start this podcast. We could really get on and start really helping people, because financial literacy is something that was gone from us, growing up, and a lot of people's problems was coming from money as we came up. You know what I mean?
Man.
And it wasn't from the lack of them not getting money, because we natural born hustlers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're gonna get to a bag. But the thing was, we didn't have that education on what to do with that money. So that's why I really started what I'm doing, my whole financial literacy brand. The app, the website, the podcast is gonna be coming soon. So that's really why I started, and that's my why and what I'm doing.
I love that, man. I love that. And bro, again, man, what you're doing is not normal. So how does that feel, bro, to chop it up, man, with people about financial literacy, and to know that you're putting people on that's in their early 20s about not only how to make money, but to also create generational wealth? How does that feel?
Man, it feels great, because I've always worked jobs where I'm, physically helping somebody, doing this. I worked in Kroger when I was 14, worked at JCPenney, worked all these different types, side jobs, side hustle, Uber Eats, all that. Man. So being able to help somebody digitally, You know what I mean? It's crazy being able to change people's lives from behind a mic, you know, and it's just great to be able to do that. You know, all I got to do is record one time, edit it, and then it's out there forever. You know, and the content is there forever. So it's amazing feeling.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. And man, do you feel like more people should get into podcasting, man? You now being a young creative podcast, do you feel like more people are within our age group who feel like that they might have something to say should create a podcast now?
I definitely do. I feel like everybody who has something to say should, because it gives you a platform. And not only does it give you a platform, you know, it allows you to find community of a like-minded individuals. You know, I noticed, you know, everybody has an Instagram, everybody has Facebook or Twitter, but not everyone has a podcast. Wow. So with the podcast, it allows you to, like I said, build that community, and it allows you to make yourself, you know, put yourself as an expert. And really with me, especially being so young, I like to position myself as, you know, some sort of an expert, but I'm also growing. And I also know that, you know, it's a lot for me to, like, when you listen to my podcast, you'll hear me learning and learning along with my audience. So I'm asking these questions because I want to know as well. You know,
it's real.
So it's funny, like every time after go back and edit my podcast, I'm always writing notes. I'm writing, you know, the biggest takeaways from each guest, because, you know, some of the guests that I'm having on, you know, you would usually have to pay for their time.
There we go. Yeah.
So you gotta get their time for free. So the fact that I could get them on the show and then give that knowledge and that information back to my, you know, audience is invaluable.
That's good, bro. Because again, man, you saying that point is like really smart, because I feel like with the podcast, you're able to build a network, like you said, with people who usually you would have to pay to get all this free game from, man. So how does that feel too, man, to know, like, a year later, man, I've interviewed all these people and I have their phone numbers, I can hit them up. How does that feel for you?
Man, it feels great. I got one story. Me and my cousin, we were on the beach in South Carolina. I forgot. It's like Hilton Head. We were in South Carolina, and we was literally riding bikes on the beach. And I seen this abandoned house. It was like a huge house. And I'm like, dang. I said, that would be good for some, you know, fix and flip.
Yeah.
So I called my man, O'Neal Parker. You know, he's a part of the Real Talk Real Estate with Byron Sellers. And I FaceTimed him, and I was like, let me see if, because I just had interviewed him like 2 weeks earlier. So I FaceTimed him. I said, let me see if he'll answer. So I FaceTimed him. He actually answered. I said, hey, bro, I said, what would you do if you seen this house right here? Like, how would you, you know, what would be the steps and processes that you would take to fix and flip that joint? So he sat there and told me the apps and the websites that he would do to fix that property and then flip it for money. So it's just amazing being connected to these type people. And then when the app and the website come out, you know, I've already built that community. So it's just going to be amazing, man. I can't wait.
Oh, man, I love this. I love this, man. Hassan, again, bro, like, it's just dope seeing somebody like my age who's just thinking way ahead of their time, years ahead, bro. So that's amazing, man. Keep doing that in the app, in the website. Talk to me, man, about that, because that's another thing, like seeing young Black people being involved in the tech space when it comes to apps and websites. We don't really see that. So what was the inspiration behind the app and the website, and what can we expect to see from that as well?
Definitely. So the app and the website is basically going to be like a financial literacy hub. You're going to be able to budget your money, save your money, eliminate debt. And we also have this cool feature, like a spend and save type feature. So every time you spend some money, you'll be able to move that. So say you spend like $1.75 at Starbucks. I know it ain't never that cheap, but just for example, say you spend $1.75 at Starbucks, we'll round up that 25 cents. So we'll put that 25 cents from your checkings to your savings. So you just keep on saving, so it's automated. And, you know, automation, I feel like is one of the best ways for people to, you know, improve their financial game. You know, automating your investing, automating your saving is one of the best ways, you know, for everybody listening. That's definitely one of the best ways for you to get right with your financials. But back to the app and the website, you know, that's going to be something very, very big for us, because we have two business models. We have the B2C, which is going to be the app, website, podcast. That's going to go directly to consumers, directly to, you know, social media and all that. And then we have B2B, which is business to business. So we're going to take our online curriculums, our e-courses that we're producing now, and we're going to take those to high schools and colleges and try to implement them into, you know, the curriculum. So as of now, I have 3 pilot schools. I have my alma mater, Maryville College. I have the high school I graduated from back in Texas, Spring High School. And I have Prince George's Community College out here in DC. So that's what we're going to be trying to do, focus on really heavy, is getting that into these schools, getting ready for August. Because, you know, January done flew by. So
you're not lying, bro.
Hey, so I know these months are going to fly by. So I'm on it right now, focusing on getting the podcast right, focusing on getting the online courses and my e-courses right, so we can get those in the school, because my goal is to make every school, every high school, every college require a financial literacy, personal finance class in their school systems.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. And those things aren't taught in school when it comes to being financially free, when it comes to generational wealth or creating even, man, your own business. So how should we combat that, right, of not being taught these things in school? So how do we learn about it if we aren't taught about it in school?
Man, it's really about, you know, finding the balance between your education and your entertainment intake. So if you sit up there watching Netflix all day, you know, try to switch that to some podcasts. Try to switch that to some ebooks, some audiobooks. You know, like my mentor Ralph Jarvis always said, YouTube University. You know, YouTube is a great place to learn a lot of different things. You can literally, there's so much information out there.
Yeah.
So I say that's a great way to start, and just really, really educating yourself, because we're not being taught it in school until my curriculum or until one of my other partners' curriculums get implemented into these school systems. So definitely educating yourself, self-education, always improving, because especially like for people who've already graduated, we're not required anymore to sit in a classroom for 8 hours a day and learn for 5 days a week. I mean, so it's going to be very important that you go out there and self-educate, like I said, with podcasts, with audio books, YouTube, and different things like that.
Yeah, I love that, man. And Hassan, bro, I gained more respect from you, and I could relate to you more when I saw that you played football, bro. So talk to me, man, about that transition from the field to now, man, doing your thing in podcast and working in the financial industry. What was that transition period like, man? Because I know a lot of guys from playing ball, you just get stuck in that one little box. And once football is done, man, it feels like you don't have any type of purpose sometimes. So how did you find like a real good plan B? Because a lot of people struggle with that.
That's a great question.
Thank you.
So, you know, my transition was actually kind of forced. You know, I was from adversity. I always played DB. I played defensive back my first 3 years of college. And then I switched to running back my senior year. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I was tearing them up in practice. I was tearing them up in practice.
I love it.
And so the fifth week of the season, coach was like, "Man, you've been doing your thing this whole time." He was like, we was about to play our rival. He was like, "Man, we want to give you a shot." I was going with the first team. Man, I was running the ball. Somebody wrapped me up, because you know you'll be tackling in practice like that. Somebody wrapped me up. Somebody fell on my knee from the side, tore my meniscus. Done for the season. Done for the season. So, you know, instead of that, I wasn't just gonna sit there and not be active, because I'm always striving to, you know, get better. You gotta find your next move. So I was writing my senior thesis over financial literacy, and I was talking to everybody. I'm like, man, I'm finna become the next great author.
I love it.
I'm finna write this little 30-page paper, get an A on that, and then turn that into a book. And then I told my cousin that. He was like, man, you should turn that into an app. I said, whoa, an app? I said, that's smart. I said, that's smart. So literally the next day, I began researching on how to create an app, how to create, you know, a website. So literally from like September of 2019 to December, it was nothing but research. So I was doing that. And then, like I said, I tore my meniscus, had surgery in December. And then I told my mom, I said, when I get back to school in the spring of 2020, I'm going to meet with my teachers. I'm going to meet with, you know, the decision makers at the school, and then eventually get a meeting with the dean. So I made a prototype of my PowerPoint in December. Some people was trying to charge me, man, $1,600, you know, $2,000 just for a PowerPoint. So I was like, nah, that ain't happening. Not as a college student. So I built my own prototype, and then got back to spring semester. and began meeting with teachers, meeting with decision makers at the school. Eventually got my meeting with the dean of like March 3rd, I believe. So I had that meeting, had 5 of the most prominent teachers at my school actually accompany me to that meeting because they believed in the idea so much. And then, man, from there, it's just been taking off, got the connection with the dean of Maryville, and all they want to see is the app and the website, and then we on go. So I'm just waiting for that to be developed. The app and website probably going to be done in March, and then probably released, you know, sometime in April or May.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. That's what I'm talking about. Man, seeing you just doing things like that is unheard of, and I know that that takes a high level of confidence to go inside of those rooms, to believe in yourself. What impact do you think sports has had on you to be confident, to be poised?
A lot.
Yeah.
You know, it's really instilled that determination. It's instilled that discipline where, you know, now coaches aren't sitting here yelling, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do that. Like, it's all on me. So since I've been playing football from 5 years old, you know, it's these type of determination, these type of skills that not only football, but like for anybody listening, you know, sports in general gives you that confidence. It gives you that determination where you can go out and finish things even when you don't want to. And that's a lot of time. I know you would know as an entrepreneur, as a podcaster, there's some things we don't feel like doing.
That's facts. That's facts, bro.
So just, you know, pushing through those things because we know the end goal. You know what I mean? We know what we're trying to get to. And that's just like with football. You know, we know the end goal. We know we're trying to win that conference championship. We know we're trying to win the Super Bowl, whatever it is, you know, we're trying to win that. So we got to do whatever it takes, you know, in the present time to get to where we want to be at in the future.
That's powerful, bro. That's powerful. And for athletes right now who could be tuning in and who are somewhat struggling to find that plan B, man, what words of advice would you have for them about finding a life outside of football?
We're young. We're young. I just interviewed Haitian CEO, Mr. Herman Dose, last night.
Wow.
And I love what he said. He said, fail forward.
Man.
That's tough.
Yeah, that is, bro. I'm listening.
So he said, fail forward. And especially with us being young, we have so much time to try this, try that, try that. Okay, that don't work, switch lanes. Okay, this don't work, switch lanes. That don't work, switch lanes. Okay, this work, stay in that lane, boom, keep driving, keep driving. You know, a crash happened, boom, switch lanes and keep on going. You know what I mean? So that would be my advice to, you know, anybody listening who's looking to find their passion. Try everything. Try everything. You know, like I said in the beginning, I didn't even want to start a podcast in the beginning. And then I started it, found out it would work for me, and I'm going to keep going.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Fail forward. And, bro, we're not just going to skip over who you just had on the podcast, man. Haitian CEO, I've been following for a minute. So, you know, knowing him talking about credit, him 500, them being in the same circle. So I know, bro. So seeing that, man, hey, I'm going to tap into that. And, bro, again, like, you have high-quality guests, and that's something that I respect because I love seeing people when they get guests on a consistent basis, man, because I know how hard that is. So speak on that, bro, about having to get guests and having to be consistent when it comes to your content. How is that process?
That's literally what we were talking about because he was like, people don't know how many times, he's like, people don't know how many times you've been in my DM trying to get me to be on the show, this and that. And I was like, yeah, because it was funny. I actually interviewed him for season 1. And when I interviewed him, he had to go to like an appointment or something.
Wow.
So he was like in the car while I was interviewing him. So I was like, we can't put that on. I said,
I feel that.
So we had to hit him back up and keep hitting him back up to get him on there because he dropped so many gems. He dropped so many gems. He's so knowledgeable. So I was like, we have to get him back on there. So it took a little minute, but that's back to that consistency.
Yeah.
You know, staying on them. And, you know, it's just amazing to be able to reach out and speak with all these different guests. Like, you know, I interviewed, you know, Byron Sellers before he started, you know, really taking off. Because now he going crazy. Shout out Byron Sellers. Shout out Mobile Home Elite. Y'all check him out. You know, that's another way he's doing something that's unconventional in the real estate form. Everybody thinks of real estate as, you know, houses, duplexes, you know, other type of, but he's doing mobile homes. You know what I mean, and that's unheard of.
Yes.
So shout out Byron Sellers, but just there's all these different people that I'm interacting with and meeting with and building that community. As I was saying, it's amazing, and I'm soaking up everything. So I'm literally last week I started my Roth IRA and I invested into BTI. So that's Vanguard Total Index. So basically, this ETF tracks every single publicly traded company in the U.S.
Wow.
Every single one. So I heard somebody say it was like basically you're betting that the economy will keep going. And I'll take that bet because the U.S. economy will always keep going.
That's real.
You know, certain companies will stop, certain companies will fall, but this economy will keep going. So I invested into that. You know, I'm just soaking up all this gain. You know, I put my money in a high yield savings account through Chime. I'm about to put some more money in American Express high yield savings account because it ain't no reason to be saving in our regular savings account that's giving us 0.0003% on our money. You know what I mean? So there's so many different, you know, aspects that I'm learning from these people. And I literally have I have a call with one of my guests I interviewed about life insurance. And it's a certain type of life insurance because I've always thought life insurance was for like when you have a whole family and, you know, you want to protect them, you know, just in case it happens to you. I didn't know about no cash value life insurance like this. So the cash value life insurance for everybody listening, that's a life insurance that comes with like a cash value savings account. And you can invest through that account and then they do something where they lock off your losses. So you telling me if I invest this money, y'all gonna lock off my losses and I can just keep the gains tax-free?
Man.
Come on.
I'm listening, bro. I'm listening, man. I'm blown away.
I'm blown away, man. And Hassan, I'm going to give you your flowers tonight, bro. Like, what you're doing is unprecedented. I love this, man. I love this. And please keep doing this, man, because, again, it's unseen. Like, Earn Your Leisure, I love Earn Your Leisure. That's dope. David Shands, I love him as well. But, like, these are people who are, like, older, right? But seeing people in their young 20s already tapping into stuff that's unheard of, man. So keep doing that. And right now, bro, tell me, like, how does it feel? Like, how does it feel to, and I know you're probably super ambitious, and I know you're probably not where you want to be exactly, but how does it feel to see all the work that you're currently doing right now in this present moment?
Man, that's great that you said that, because I'm not where I want to be right now. I feel like I was telling Tyron Breckenridge, he's one of the guests I interviewed for season 2. He's a former NFL player. You know, he's doing some great things. And I was like, man, I said, right now I feel like I'm in the middle of a tunnel. Like, I feel like I'm way further than I am when I started. But I see where I want to go, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, how do I, because I was like, not getting down on myself, because I'm, very, very confident in myself. But I was just like, dang, like, I'm not, like, I see where I want to be, but I'm not there. So it's just really, trying to trust the process, and just you gotta accept where you are, and then really try to focus on, where, like I was telling you a little bit earlier, focus on, what you need to do now so you can get to where you want to be in the future. So basically that's how I'm handling it. I'm not letting, any type of success, get to my head. I'm just staying down, working. And then once I get there, we're going to find another way, find another lane, and we're going to keep on going. Like, yes, sir.
That's right.
That's what it is.
I feel that, bro. I feel that. And Danielle, I see you in the comments as well, man. You had Danielle on the podcast. Love that interview. That was a great conversation, man. And seeing you network with these people, man, that's really good to see. And also something as well, you know how to package content, and that's one thing that I love seeing, man. You got the clips. You're saving the conversations, because a lot of people aren't saving their conversations on Zoom, on IG Live. So for people out there who want to create a podcast, man, what words of advice do you have for them when it comes to saving your content, editing your content, reposting, repackaging it, all that good stuff?
So first of all, shout out Gary Vee, because it's king.
Yeah.
As we know.
Yeah.
So, what I like to do, I do my Zoom interviews, and how I do it, because most of it is going to be like the audio portion on Apple, Spotify, and different things like that. But for the beginning, I'd like to do my interviews on Zoom, because I feel like it makes the conversation better when you can see your guest. So I saved that part, and then I repurposed that as an Instagram TV video. I'm finna give y'all some free game. So I repurposed that as an IGTV video. And then, a few months later, when I want to come back I'll turn that IGT video and find like the top 15, 30 seconds of what they were saying and put that as a reel. So the reels have been going crazy. So like the interaction with the reels and everything is much better. So I would say find different ways to package that content, and then, you know, make sure you're delivering the most important things. Like a lot of people, you know, with the reels, you got to find like the best things and then put them out there. Like that's something that Gary Vee does very well. And my producer, my chief operations of my business, my mom, she told me, she was like, watch Gary Vee. She was like, he be doing this thing. So what Gary Vee does in the beginning of his videos, he'll put like the first, like the most captivating 15 seconds in the beginning of the video, and then he'll go into like the whole, you know, 3-minute video. So what that does, you know, when you're on Instagram, they only show you the first 15 seconds and then you click view more. Exactly. So if you don't have something that's captivating that first 15 seconds, ain't nobody gonna view more. You know what I mean? So it's a whole game. You just gotta learn. But the most important thing, content is king. And if you don't get the likes that you want, keep going. Keep going. Keep being consistent. You know, that's one of the important things. I know we were gonna talk about that, but consistency is so key. Last year, I had to, the original person who was helping me with my podcast, he stopped helping us probably like the 3rd week. So I started to edit my podcast and do all that myself. So I didn't know how hard to edit. That's the hardest part.
Sucks. Right there. Yeah, it sucks, bro.
That's the hardest part right there, is editing the podcast. So I was literally doing my interview with my guest, editing that. Then I would do not my interview. I would do my skits and stuff with my co-host, edit that. Then I would have to edit those two together. And then I would have to edit the intro, edit the outro, put the ads on there, put the promos on there, man. You know, do all those different things. And it felt like I had like a deadline. So like Friday, we release episodes every Friday. So it felt like my deadline was Friday. So I'm doing all this while I'm working on the app, you know, staying up late nights. So this year, you know, for season 2, we're going to do it a bit different. And I'm going to, before I release, because we're going to release the episodes April 2nd for season 2. You know, Financial Literacy Month. So
I love that.
You know, what I'm doing now, working so hard now, is doing these edits, you know, at not my leisure, but like at my own pace. You know what I mean? So I'm not doing it week by week by week, trying to get it ready for that release date on Friday. So stacking and batching up your content is something that we should have talked about as well, because batching up your content for anybody is doing a lot of content in one time frame and then releasing it, you know, maybe week by week. So that helps a lot. So for anybody listening, you know, for females, after you get your hair done, after you get males, after you get your hair cut, do a whole bunch of content while you fresh.
Yeah, that's real. That's
real. Do a whole bunch of content while you fresh. Get your little ring light, you know, do that, and then just put out this content and just keep going. Be consistent with it.
Son, man, you preaching, because I had to learn that, man, the hard way too, that it's better to have episodes in the vault than having to just keep going and going and going. And that's so smart. So can you speak on the importance of like strategizing, man, when it comes to creating content? Because I think people get excited, you know, to be on camera, to talk to people, but it's a whole strategy that you got to have behind it. So can you speak on that?
Most definitely. So, you know, my strategy, I like to, you know, when I'm placing, you know, certain guests in order, I kind of like to, you know, have certain guests come, like with O'Neal Parker and Byron Sellers. You know, I have them paired together because they're on the same podcast. So that means they have some of the same audience. So if they see me one week with Byron Sellers and they see the next week I'm with O'Neal Parker, they done see me 2 weeks in a row with 2 people that they follow and admire already. So it's like, dang, who that dude right there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who's that? So that goes into a follow, that goes into a interaction with the podcast. So that's, you know, some strategic. And even with I was interviewing. Have you heard of the Millennials Next Door, Andre Albert?
No, I haven't.
Okay, yeah, he's real big in the financial community.
Okay.
And I was also interviewing a financial planner, Miss Jacqueline Sardet, and they two have been. She was featured on his podcast. He has a podcast called the Flavor Podcast. So I put them for season 2. I put them right by each other as well. So it's all about the strategy. You know what I mean?
That's good, man. That's good. And bro, for people who might feel like, man, Hassan, I can't get the caliber of guests that you get, and I don't know how you do it. What words of advice would you have for that, man? Because clearly you were shooting your shot. I mean, Haitian CEO, that's not easy getting somebody like that. So for people who are intimidated about getting certain guests, how should they go about that process?
Just like you said, bro, shoot your shot.
That's facts.
You don't, y'all only see the guests that I get.
Mm.
You'll see how many guests seen. You know, I go back and check. It's a scene.
Yeah.
Scene.
Yeah.
I mean, folks not responding, not following back. So, you know, it's just keep shooting your shot. You know, don't get discouraged. Like, you know, God is gonna put the right people in your time, in your view, in your way for you know where you are right now. So it's gonna be hard, of course. You know, getting them rejections. Exactly. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So
that's a fact.
Exactly. So you just got to keep shooting. That's the biggest thing is, you know, keep shooting and, you know, and one thing I did that really helped me was following the financial literacy type hashtags on Instagram. So every time somebody tags financial literacy, financial freedom, credit, you know, taxes, all those different type things in the financial literacy world, you know, I'm seeing all that. So I go click their profile. I'm like, okay, I like what he's talking about. I like what she's talking about. Let me shoot my shot. I got the same copy, paste message.
Yep. I know.
Change it up a little bit to what they talking about.
Yeah.
And I just shoot. If they respond, we lit. We like it. You know, get them locked in. You know, if they don't, keep moving. Keep moving to the next.
That's it, man. That's it. And bro, right now I know you're probably wrapping up season 2. How does that feel, man, to see all of your work right now, to start from episode 0, season 1. Now you about to wrap up season 2 and the guests are just getting bigger. So how does that feel for you right now?
Man, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be, you know, in this position, and it's a blessing to see, you know, the work paying off. You know what I mean? You know, me and my co-host, me and my producer, you know, we put in so much work, and now, you know, we have, you know, at first it just started with just me. You know, now I have a team. You know, I have a graphic design intern. I have a digital design intern. So I'm, you know, just making this team, and it's just amazing to see where it's going. It's amazing to see the following growing. Amazing to see the community that's being built, because, you know, our goal is to have everyone being financially literate, have everybody be financially free, because we don't want people to be, you know, unstable, you know, with their finances. We don't want people to be limited in their options, you know, unconfident about, you know, their finances. So that's the main reason that, you know, I'm happy that everything is doing that. People are actually responding. People are actually listening and learning something. It's just amazing. And like you said, man, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going.
That's right, bro. And man, Hassan, right now you are a young mogul. I love it, bro, because you got a team. And I feel like for a leader, that's the most humble thing to have is a team, like not being selfish, knowing strengths and weaknesses. For people right now, can you explain the importance of having a team for people who want to start a podcast? Because I know, man, when they see the podcast, they probably think that it's just you, but they don't know that you got people behind the scenes. So what's that like?
No doubt. So I think it's so important to have a team, because now you have a team to like fall back on. So if everything, you know, goes wrong, of course it's gonna fall back on me, you know, from social media wise, like it's gonna like it's on me. But I know like the whole team is behind me. They're supporting me. You know, we're all working towards one goal, and that's having the best podcast. That's having the best app to come out. That's having, you know, the best website, you know, getting into these schools and really, you know, making a difference. So having a team is so important, because it gives you something to fall back on. It gives you a support system. You know what I mean? Like when you post something and you only get 2 likes, them 2 likes come from your team. You know, if you didn't have that team, that would be 0 likes. So just having your team as a true support system is something that, and one quote I seen, it was like, it's crazy what you can accomplish when you don't care about the credit. Wow. You know what I mean? When you don't care about taking the credit for yourself, like, oh yeah, my podcast did this. You know, every time I'm talking to, you know, my team, our podcast, you know, our website, our app, you know, we doing this together. It's not just me. And I don't want nobody to ever feel like it's just me. I got a team now. It was just me when I was back in college.
Yeah.
Funny, I actually kept my idea a secret from that September, as I told you, all the way to 2020 of my birthday. My mom told me to release my GoFundMe account for my app and website on my birthday, April 28th. So that was the smart marketing plan from her. You know, the first week I got $7,000 for the development of my website.
Nice.
So, you know, that was a very smart play that came from her. And, you know, like I said, man, just give your team the credit and just keep on building. Make sure you have a team.
That's beautiful, man. One thing that I love, you keep saying, and it's a good thing, talking about your mother, man. And your mom sounds like she's a genius, bro. Talk to me about the influence of having your mom helping you out. What's that like for you right now?
Man, we keeping it in the family. My mom is my chief operations officer.
Nice.
My dad is my chief financial officer.
Wow.
He's been an accountant for 19 years. So, you know, I feel like he's very capable of helping me right there in that situation. And then with my mom, she's been around, you know, she does so many different things. She's a true blessing. And she's just been around so many different, you know, people from, you know, doing events with P. Diddy and doing events with other type of stars. And she just knows the game, you know, and just being able to work with my mom, it's literally gave us like a new passion. Like we wake up every day and we ready to work, you know. To see how we can take things to the next level. And we're always, you know, self-educating ourselves. We're buying, you know, Nehemiah Davis's t-shirt ebook and his e-courses and things, because we're about to come out with the FYI FLI clothing line as well. We're about to get that going, you know, and just being able to do this with family, you know what I mean, it is amazing. So I love having her as my chief operations officer. You know, she has the capability of doing it. My dad has the capability of doing it. So why go anywhere else? Why go with people who I'm gonna trust more than my mom and my pops?
Man, that's real.
You know what I mean? So just having them is huge. You know, having everybody who supports me is huge. And, you know, one thing I can say, focus on your supporters and then watch that number grow. That's the thing. I was focusing on the people that wasn't supporting me. And my mom actually told me, just focus on the ones that are and watch them grow. And that really, really, really helped me a lot.
Man, that's beautiful, bro. And you talking about Nehemiah Davis, it's a legend right there. And talking about buying courses still. Like right now, you know, you could get the big head and be like, yo, my podcast is growing, doing numbers. I see the downloads. I saw that post, man. I was just proud, man, just to see that. So what is it like to say, yo, I still got to invest in stuff. Like I still got to invest in myself, in the merch line, and still learn from people. So how do you keep going and, you know, keep trying to learn as well? Speak on that.
That's a great question. So I was watching EYL's podcast with Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
The fact that Mark Cuban said that he learns something where he strives to do something self-educational every single day.
Yeah.
If Mark Cuban, billionaire investor, Dallas Mavericks owner, can still strive out to learn, something every day, who I think I am? You know what I mean?
That's right.
To get the big head. You know, it's always something for us to be learning. There's always something for us to get better on. And that's what I try to preach, you know, get better at something every day. You know, it was probably last week, you know, I was mad at myself because I didn't feel like I did enough that day. Like I had a very productive day. It was funny. It was a Sunday. my mom was telling me I was supposed to be chilling, but I had cleaned up the house. I had did like 1 or 2 things for the business, and I was looking at my schedule because I like make a schedule on my little calendar of everything I gotta do. And if I don't get that joint done, I'll be heated at my own stuff.
Like that.
So it's just, you know, always striving, always working to get better and self-educating. You know, I'm trying to get into the options game right now. You know, like I told you earlier, I invested into, you know, building the long-term wealth. You know, for the folks listening, you know, investing is for the long-term profitability, and options type trading, any type of trading, you know, forex trading, you know, cryptocurrency trading, is for short-term profitability. So I'm trying to get into that short-term profitability because I actually just got a job at Wells Fargo, started working January 11th, like I told you.
Congrats too, man.
Appreciate it. Now I have some constant income I can throw into my investments. I got some constant income I can throw into my savings. Now I can really start to tap in with this options trading instead of driving that DoorDash, throwing that little money into my savings. Now I got constant income every Friday coming in where I can now do what I be preaching as well, which is a zero-based budget. So that's taking the money that you get each check and dividing that up, giving all that money purpose.
Man, so that's good stuff.
The biggest thing for me is really, finding that purpose and just keep on going, and making these right money moves, getting yourself educated, because like I said, it's always something you can learn, always something you can get better at every single day.
That's right, man. That's right. Son, bro, what drives you, man, to keep grinding every single day? Because you're somebody who I can tell is extremely focused, productive every single day. So what drives you?
My mom. my mom. I was talking to her about this today. I was finna take a picture of us. It was Friday, and we up at 11. It was 12 o'clock, and we both on our computers working. I'm in my head. I'm like, I could not go to sleep until she go to sleep.
That's real.
I'm gonna let my mama outwork me. I said I can't go to sleep until she go to sleep. So the big thing is really my mom. And, it's always been that grind for her. Like, even in school, like, I was making all A's till I got up to probably my sophomore year of high school. I had a few B's, but, like, the grades always came in from, my mom, instilling that in me, because she just expected so much of me. Like, she always, even when I had, somebody knock down my confidence, my mom was always there to build it back up.
That's right.
So, that was the big thing for me, is always, want to do things to help my mom, want to do things to make my mom proud of me. So I'm always going to just keep grinding, because I know my family's looking at me. I know my little cousin is looking up to me. I know my little brother, my little sister, everybody's looking up to me. So I got something to prove, basically.
Man, hey, that's what I'm talking about, bro. I love, hearing about your family, inspiring you, all that, man. And earlier you were talking about options, talking about investing. Flipping your money, all these things are just so dope, man, to hear from somebody in the same age as me, man. It's crazy. So for people who are somewhat intimidated, right, when it comes about investing and things like that, what words of advice would you have for that?
I think you're intimidated because you don't know. You're not too knowledgeable on those certain things. So first would be to educate yourself on those certain things. Like I said, podcasts, ebooks, audio books, real books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Start changing your mindset. And then once you do that, then you can start really trying to tap in and just getting in there and trying those things. Like with investing, you don't have to go in there and throw $500 in there and just start trading away. You can do paper trading on TD Ameritrade. So paper trading is trading, not with real actual money. So you can do paper trading on TD Ameritrade. Webull has some good things. And then also coming back to joining those like-minded communities with people who are doing those things that you want to be doing. So I interviewed two young dudes out of, I believe they in Philly, somewhere in Philly, and they're called the money making individuals. So what they still in college, and they're doing the options trading. They going crazy with it. So I just had to interview them, and after I interviewed them, I was like, hey, bro, I'm trying to tap in with the options trading. So what we were doing for probably a month, they would tell me they trade every morning on a Zoom call, at 10 a.m. and they do options trading. So I was getting up at 10 a.m., hopping on that Zoom call with them and really learning and watching them trade. So I'll be, on the treadmill, working out, have my phone on the little joint right there. I'm just watching.
I love it.
So I'm just watching them. So First, my advice would be to educate yourself, and then after you educate yourself, take action. Don't just sit there with that knowledge that you got. Actually take action and jump right in, because you never know. We talked about earlier from what Haitian CEO said, fail forward. Don't try not to lose no money. Start with that paper trading first and things like that, but fail forward, especially with other things like that's like short-term profitability. But with the long-term trading, if you invest into, like how I told you, I invested into Vanguard's total index, you can't lose. You can't lose. You know, look out for, you know, things like, I like to preach about ETFs as well. So ETFs is basically like a group of stocks instead of investing into individual stocks. When I first started investing, I invested into individual stocks. I'm like, this not going how I thought it was gonna go. You know, some of the you know, things are going down, some prices are going down and stuff. I'm losing money. I'm like, dang, I don't really like this too much. And then I had my investment analysis teacher at my college. She actually told me how risky that was just to invest into, you know, individual stocks. And that's what got me really, you know, trained on the ETFs and things like that. So, like I said, make sure you educate yourself and then take action.
That's good stuff. Son, man, you mentioned somebody I was just about to ask you about again, Haitian CEO. I know with credit, that's something that a lot of people now are trying to like tap into. I know Him 500 is blowing up now, Haitian CEO, and you're interviewing Haitian CEO before he's about to blow up, like really, really blow up. So that's a smart play. I know you can't tell us everything because you got to save it for when the podcast drops, but what was that conversation like, man, talking about credit?
Man, it was great. You know, we talked about a lot of great things, you know, credit utilization. We also talked about, you know, how the misconstruction, not the misconstruction, but how people, you know, view credit coming up and how it was viewed as a negative, you know, connotation from, you know, from our parents because they didn't have that financial education to really know how to use credit responsibly. Like, credit is not a bad thing, but you just have to use it responsibly. So that was, you know, some of the things that we talked about, you know, the misconceptions of credit coming up in the Black community, minority community. And then we also talked about the importance of business credit. You know, he was telling me that, you know, with business credit, you can get higher credit limits. You know, the business credit does not affect your personal credit. So, you know, there's a lot of benefits for business owners, whether it's taxes, whether it's credit, you know, different things like that. So the conversation with him went real well. So I just can't wait for y'all to hear that. You know, it's a lot of great gems. So y'all definitely stay tuned.
Yeah, man, I love that, bro. And as somebody who's interviewing people as a podcaster, bro, just tell me, man, how does it feel at the end of an interview when you know, like, yo, I just had a great conversation with a big guest? How does that feel for you sometimes?
Man, I feel like I just scored a touchdown, man.
Yeah.
Man, I get off that job, I be like, damn,
I love it. I love it.
So I mean, it feels great because you know, like after you done had that conversation, you're like, oh yeah, that joint's gonna be fire. You know what I mean? So especially if you go back and then you edit that joint and then you take away, because me, I like, you know, people tell me, you know, you can always go to Fiverr, you can always go to different things to get your podcast edited. I was like, nah, I'm cool. I like editing my own podcast because I know what's fire and I know what's not. They not gonna know. They just edit that podcast for, like, you know, audio, you know, difficulties and different things like that. When I go edit my podcast, I actually take time and listen to it and take out the things that's not gonna provide the most value for the audience. So when I'm going through, if the podcast is like, you know, the original podcast is like 45 minutes, I'll go through, edit that joint, and it end up being 38 minutes of real hard material. You know what I mean? So everything that they're hearing, it's like, dang, okay, that makes sense. Okay, boom, that makes sense. Oh yeah, I like that. Okay, I can apply that to my real life. So that's why I like editing my own podcast.
That's good, man. That's good. And Hassan, man, from tapping into your podcast, listening to it, I love it. For people who are starting a podcast, can you speak on the importance of just listening to your guests and talking to them and just having like a regular conversation? Because I like how yours, like, everything flows. So how do you do it?
Man, so I think it's, you know, it's very important, you know, because you don't want it to feel like they're just being straight up, you know, interviewed. But you do want to have some type of, you know, flow to it. So I'm, you know, preparing my questions. One big thing about me, where I always get this, they be like, man, those are some great questions. Man, those are some great questions.
Good.
They be like, I can actually tell you did your research. And I'm like, yeah, I did it.
That's good.
So I'm actually going to their Instagram. If they got, you know, 500 posts, I'm swiping all the way to the bottom. I'm starting from the bottom, and I'm going through everything. I can make a question out of this.
Yeah.
Question out of this. I can make a question out of this. So it's basically doing your research before you get out there and just try to ask them, you know, the same questions you ask, you know, everybody. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's something that's very important, is doing your research over your guests.
That's good, bro. And do you feel like that kind of parallels with playing football, right? With having to like watch film before a game or having to study the opponent. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, both them. Because that's what I'm saying, you know, football and business in general, you know, it coincides with each other. So a lot of things that you learn, you know, on the field, a lot of things that you learn in your sport will translate to what you're doing in business. So I definitely agree, bro.
That's dope, man. Right now, bro, we have this big movement of financial literacy and people talking about business. Just us talking about ownership, man. How do you feel about this brand new moment with podcasts, man, such as yourself? We got Earn Your Leisure, Sleepers for Suckers, David Shands with Social Proof. So how do you feel about like this whole movement that's going on right now?
The movement is much needed. And you know why? Because we're starting to position ourselves, you know, as the celebrities, as the influence. Like when you look at FYI, they doing shows with 85 South Show. They doing stuff with Master P, with Cuban. You know, they're positioning with people that people are actually going to listen to. Like, people aren't going to listen to, you know, people that they really don't know. But if you can get on there and get with a rapper or an athlete or entertainer, people be like, okay, let me see what they're actually talking about. And then you can get them on your platform and you can mix in, you know, financial literacy with what they're doing. You know, that's how you really, really get people to listen. So I feel like it's the perfect time because, you know, the young folks listening, they want to hear, they only care about entertainment and experiences. So that's something I learned, you know, from my website and my app as well. You know, I have to, once we release the app, we're going to come up with some updates where we're going to allow people to travel, you know, start making like a travel fund on the app and then partner with like traveling agencies and things like that to give them deals on the app. So I know, since I am my target market, I know what we care about. You know what I'm saying? We care about traveling experiences and entertainment. So I'm just going to deliver what my target market wants. Simple as that. And that was kind of like the biggest thing for me with business. Because honestly, I ain't never cared about nobody's opinion. But now that I'm a bit in business, only thing that matters is their opinion. You know, only thing that matters is my, you know, target market's opinion. So for business owners and entrepreneurs listening, it doesn't matter what you want. It matters what your target market wants. So give your target market what they want, make them happy, make them love it, and that's how you do it.
That's a good point, man. And for the people who's tuning in who might be asking, you know, in their heads, like, yo, how do I find out what they want? How should they go about finding what that target audience wants?
So it definitely depends on what your target market is. For me personally, since I am my target market, you know, it was a little easier. So, like a target market was a little easier for me. But for other people, I feel like you would have to do research, you know, market research of finding where your target market is, and then go out there and do some surveys, do some testing. You know, like I said, fail forward. Go out there. If your target market is on Facebook, you know, try a Facebook group. You know, if your target market is on TikTok, you may have to start dancing a little bit. You may have to go do a little bop. You know, I don't dance. I see your bop. So I have to get on that TikTok a little bit. You know what I mean? But it's just about going to where your target market is, finding them, and then interacting with them. Especially with social media now, it's way easier than, you know, it would have been, you know, 10 years ago. Because you can go out there and ask questions. Like you're talking directly to your consumer. You know, so go out there, interact, get into that community, and then that should be a way for you to really tap in and see what they want, see what they need, and then provide that need. Because like I said, it doesn't matter what you want. That's what your audience wants.
That's right. That's right, man. Hassan, you're somebody who's very intentional. You provide value. You provide great content, man. I love seeing that. What does it feel like, man, when you have people who leave reviews or who comment and just DM you and tell you, bro, I love what you're doing? What does that feel like?
Man, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. I love getting those type of comments. I love getting those type of reviews because they'll never get old. You know what I mean? Just like I said a little earlier, I was always working physical jobs and, you know, getting thank yous and this and that, this and that. But getting a real, like, written out review and somebody telling me how I changed their life, or we changed their life through the podcast and things like that, and people saying, okay, I'm about to start a zero-based budget. Okay, I'm going to look into, high yield savings accounts. Like that is truly amazing for me, and it's a blessing.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. And everything that you're doing, again, man, you were just pushing things forward. You're grinding, man. What's next for you, man, for yourself, for the podcast, everything?
Man, so like I said, season 2 coming out early April. Definitely be on the lookout for that. Also, the app and the website will probably be out sometime in May, June, summertime around there. So be on the lookout for that. We coming with the clothing line.
Oh man, I love it.
Yes, sir. We coming. I'm getting into writing books. I've already written an ebook. Some people don't know that, but I've written an ebook as well.
Good stuff.
I'm gonna be producing and writing up more books. I'm looking to eventually start HRT, tax and credit repair, HRT real estate. Eventually coming out with a second app. Eventually being big ass or even bigger than EYL. Collaborating with them. Because we all got the same goal, and that's for our listeners to reach financial freedom. So if we can do that together, the possibilities is limitless.
Yeah, man. Hey, that's good. And bro, you're someone who pushes ownership and financial freedom. Those are things that can change people's lives. And right now, man, can you speak on the importance of us as young people having our own businesses, man? Because you started it with your family. That's a beautiful thing. So how important is it for us to have our own? And working is cool, but to also own our own business as well.
Most definitely. So I feel like it's so important because I posted today, your boss will never pay you enough to be his neighbor. And that's fact. When they said that, I was like, ooh, that's true. That's true. So, I definitely feel like it's so important because it's also another, business is another reflection of you. So when you have that business, it's like a baby, basically. You watering and planting and growing that business. You just see it sprouting up. So it is very important for us to have a business because, years ago we were getting, prosecuted for having those businesses. Those businesses were getting burnt down.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Have these businesses now that we can have, e-commerce and we can have online businesses, and now that we can, eat passively. That's huge. So I feel like that's, definitely a way to financial freedom. But, for my people listening, I say, work that job, that 9 to 5 job, take that money, use that job as your bank. You don't need to go out there and get a loan and do all that. You can use that job as your bank and then put that money into your business and grow your business, advertising for your business, growing for your business. So I feel like it's very important for us to own, a business and leave that legacy.
That's right, man. That's right. Leaving that legacy, owning that business. These are conversations that wasn't taking place, right? Even 10 years ago, 15 years ago, our parents, their generation, I know that they were having these conversations, man. So what do you think the trajectory in the future of our age group looks like 20 years from now? Because we're already talking about ownership now.
Man, I've always told this. I was like, I know I'm going to be wealthy.
Yeah.
So when I get up there, I don't want to look around and nobody's wealthy with me because that ain't going to be no fun. So I see everybody, that's listening to me being wealthy, having financial freedom, having, millions in their savings account because we started saving right now. Having millions in their savings account. And that's not even from, that job. That's from investing early and often. So I feel like, just now that we're really awakened to what's going on and all the different things that the other side has been doing for years, life insurance, investing, getting the great credit, leveraging that credit and different things like that, we're going to be in a position where we're closing that wage gap. Like I seen a statistic, it said that by 2053, the median black wealth in America is going to be zero.
Yep.
We can't go for that.
Yeah.
We're not going for that. So that's why we doing what we doing right now, so we can kill that statistic. Because I promise you, we're not going for that.
Hey, that's right, bro. And you said something that was really, really dope about being wealthy, and it's no fun being wealthy by yourself. So for people who's trying to put their friends on, how do you go about that with putting them on game as well?
Man, so I say, That's a good question because, you know, originally I started off the podcast, we wanted to have 4 other co-hosts. Yeah, and as you know, I only got one.
Right.
So, you know, you know, I've always been a type to try to put my friends on and different things like that, and I always will be. But you know, you just have to, you know, make sure that you're in a position that you won't get messed up from putting them on.
There you go.
You know, so if you put them on, make sure that you're squared away, that you're good. So because everybody may not have the same mindset as you. Man. You know, but if everybody does have that same mindset, then take off together. You know, but if everybody does it in the group, you know, that's somebody you love, you still got to look out for them. You still got to give them the opportunity. If they don't take it, that's on them. But you got to make sure that you're squared away first before you try to give handouts and do this and that.
That's right, man. That's right. Hassan, bro, when I tell you I cannot thank you enough for the knowledge that you gave us tonight, your time, your energy, bro, everything. Thank you, man. And before we bounce, where do you see yourself within the next 5 to 10 years? And also, where can everybody follow you, keep up with yourself, your work, the podcast, everything?
Most definitely. So I see myself billionaire mogul, you know, the perfect mixture between David Ramsey and P. Diddy.
I love it.
You know, collaborating that education with entertainment. You know, I see me wealthy with all my friends, with all my listeners, my family, living right. You know, being 5 to 10 years, you know, me and Moms, we're gonna be in the Grand Caymans. You know, we about to go out to Florida probably next 2 years. But in 5 to 10 years, we going out of the country. We living out of the country. So that's why I see myself, you know, managing, running all my businesses, you know, automated. You know, that's gonna be my goal, is not to have to be in my businesses working 24/7 like I'm doing now. I want to put systems and processes in place where my business is running by itself and I'm making that passive income in my sleep. So that's why I see myself 5 to 10 years, you know, still helping people, making a lot of money. That's my goal. Help a lot of people, make a lot of money, and live happy and have fun with my friends, have fun with my people.
Hey, you a bad boy, bro. Hey, you killing it, man. Hassan, man, I already know season 2, you wrapping that up. Season 3 is going to be even better. Shoot, man, like whenever I'm free, I'm going to send you a whole list of people I would love to see you interview because I'm excited for you, man. So keep killing it, bro. We are all super proud of you, man. What you're doing is needed. It's legendary, and you're setting the tone. So keep doing what you're doing, man, for real.
Man, I appreciate you for giving me this time to be on your platform, man.
Anytime.
Make sure y'all check out the 3 Milli podcast. You know, tap in with my dog. You know, we're going to stay locked in. So, you know, we got each other to the end, bro.
Love, bro, love. Hey, you have a beautiful night. Keep killing it, man, for real. I'll stay in touch with you. You already know.
I got to know something before you get off. Who you going for tomorrow?
Man, it's tough. Everybody been asking me that all week. I've been thinking about it. I finally reached my final decision, bro. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I love Tom Brady, man. He's killing the game. But I feel like with Patty, if he gets this one, it's going to turn into like a real dynasty. And I love seeing dynasties. I love when Dallas, when they was a dynasty in the 90s. To me, that's like one of the best teams of like all time to me. The 49ers on the 80s, of course, Steelers in the 70s, Patriots 2000. So I feel like the Chiefs, they're going to be in the same breath as that. So I think, you know, it's time for them to make history. And, man, to have 2 Super Bowls under your belt at 25 and young, that's scary, man, because I feel like if he gets 2 now, then people, you know, they talk about Brady with 6, maybe getting 7. But if you got 2 at 25, I feel like he might even finish with 7 or 8. So I think that I'm going to just have to go with Pat Mahomes. How about yourself, bro?
Man, I'm an Atlanta fan, so you know I'm betting against Tom Brady. I'm betting against Tom Terrific. So I'm going with the Bucks. And, you know, I do feel, honestly, that, you know, the Chiefs are a better team, but I can't do it. I can't bet against Tom Terrific. I
feel you. Hey, it's something about number 12, man. So, like, either way, bro, I don't know, man. It's just it's a 50-50 thing. But, man, with Brady, like what you said, if he got the ball last, they win in the game. And I ain't even going to hold you, bro. From seeing the Falcons being up 28-3 from Atlanta, born and raised, hurt my heart, man. Broke me. Hey. So I can't bet against the man. If they win, I'm not surprised. But this might go down as one of the best Super Bowls in history. So I'm ready to see it.
Big facts, bro. Big facts. Like I said, man, I really appreciate you letting me on your podcast.
Thank you, King. Thank you, bro. Keep killing the game. And you take it easy. I'll make sure that we stay in touch. So I got you, bro, for real.
Most definitely.
Yes, sir. Much love, bro.
All right, bro.